And we're on. Welcome to Rauta's monthly stream for June 2021. There is no particular topic. As always, it's pretty much just open conversation and me drinking beer, answering your questions. Meanwhile, there are no people online. I'm just going to do random stuff and let's get this going as soon as you appear online. Anyway, uh, let me know as soon as you have questions. I'm waiting a little bit for people to come online. And meanwhile, I'm going to share a link to Rauta's Patreon supporters. They're about to have an interview link now, which then again means that this interview will be out next week in public. What I have here. This is actually a pretty good band, by the way. Dutch Reed. I actually have the album somewhere here. Yes, this one will be featured, I guess, early July out in reviews. So it's a little bit late because of massive queue. I've already actually scheduled most videos until the second week of July. That is almost like mid-July, and I'm pretty much done. That is, I can actually get to have my vacation, so that people are not like, "Hey, where are your videos, Jerry man?" So that's what it is. Anyway, welcome to the stream. It's nice to have you here. 14 people, it seems, in 2 minutes. Wow, that's got to be some sort of record for these. So how are you doing, Omar El Ayed? Where are you from? RB from California. Thanks actually for reminding me to do this live stream. I was actually supposed to do this last weekend, but Friday and Saturday were both no-go. I had a sauna and movie night with my good friends after so many months, because of COVID. We haven't had these evenings, and so we had that. And I was figuring out maybe if I come home early, I can do a stream, but I was pretty sure I couldn't, and that's the case. And on Friday, I didn't have the time, so I decided to postpone this stream to this weekend when I have more time, and I will have a couple of beers here. From Tunisia, really, really cool to have a Rauta audience in Tunisia. Never been there myself, but would love to go. So, how is life in California and Tunisia? Let me know. It's got to be really a heat wave because it's already a heat wave here in Finland. Usually at this early June, we don't get this hot. But man, it's looking pretty. I'm going to show you how it looks outside. Look, it's all very green. All very green. All the birch trees are pretty much, blooming. And even these, they are flowers. God damn. Things are looking very, very summer-like. That is, it's plenty of heat here and almost too much. And, gonna be sweating like a pig. It's kind of a pain in the ass to go to the home gym when you don't have air conditioning. And Raul Martinez in from Mexico. That's a curious thing because I was actually watching this series called Mosquito Coast, which is located in Mexico. I've been in Mexico. I've been probably saying it many, many times during my streams, but been once to Mexico and I fucking loved it. Beautiful place, even though I didn't see that much. Anyway, what I was about to type, this Third Street interview will be out public next week, next Friday, if nothing goes wrong. And now I will share it with Rauta Patreon supporters. They get a week's head start to see this interview. It's about 44 minutes of, so it's black metal. Really pay attention to that album. It's already out, I think, late May. Hold on while I just type this message. All righty, that's about it. And boom, it's out there. Let's hope that it's available for people. All right, time to close these unnecessary windows for now. And time to answer your questions and all. People popping up, that's a good thing. I hope you have some time to ask me goofy and funny things or also serious ones. I don't care really. I'm here to have a couple of beers, not hanging out too long today. Maybe an hour, maybe a little bit more. I don't know, but roughly that thing as well. So it seems everybody's enjoying the heat wave, and let's hope that we'll kill COVID. Now the thing is, things are looking a little bit better now in Finland in terms of gigs and festivals. So it seems like this August could really be a kind of a steel hordes thing happening, which means more interviews coming, more fests, bands playing on stage and get to do cool stuff. So let's hope these vaccinations and everything are taking care of the problem. And I hope, of course, that you over there, wherever you are, Tunisia, Mexico, California, whatever, I hope that you are doing safe and sound as well. Without you shouldn't go without saying that you all should get yourselves vaccinated just in order to beat this COVID shit and get back to as normal as possible. But we're not here going to talk about vaccinations. We're going to talk about metal. We're going to talk about things related to Rauta, including me, and whatever you have in mind. I'm going to read a little bit of your comments here and answer as soon as possible. Omar is already mentioning Tunisian metal. You can discover. Well, I got to say, I don't think I know any Tunisian metal. Would be cool. Kendall Dunn is asking, can we get an Annihilator's best to worst video? That would be a funny thing to do, but in fact, I don't know if it would make sense. I mean, we only have a couple of albums out, plus that EP and demo, so I don't know if there is much to be said about it. Yeah, in a way, it would be fun to do, talking about my own albums, own material, because I'm, the songwriter, and tell you which are my favorite tracks, because obviously I don't buy the bullshit that whenever artists say, yeah, all my babies are equal, all the songs, it's hard to pick my favorite. Fuck that shit. Everybody has their favorite songs. Not every song by every person is equal. Especially, I am pretty sure it's especially true when there are more than one members doing the music. I mean, if you would ask a member in a band where there's are like say a couple of guitarists and maybe bass player, doing tracks, maybe all 5 guys, however, how many people there are in the band. I'm sure that if somebody will say, yeah, this is my favorite track because, this and that. Maybe because it's lyrics, maybe it's because of killer riff, maybe killer solo, maybe it's because of certain mood, atmosphere, whatever. But I'm sure that every musician has its own favorite tracks, every favorite albums, especially when people get more hindsight in their own music. It's like, yeah, 10 years ago, we did that album. That didn't end up so good. I'm sure that people have that. So it would be kind of a cool to do, not myself only, but ask some people, when we're doing interviews, like, hey, Mr. Dark Funeral or Marduk, whatever, what is your favorite, worst to best? And discuss the whole discography. Maybe eventually, because I've been planning to do such videos with some of the artists, talking through their whole discography, either in chronological order or from worst to best. It would be really interesting to hear about some thoughts about that. I don't know. What do you think about it? But I think it would be really, really, really cool. Johan Möller is from Sweden. Hi på dig, Johan. That sounds crazy, RB, that California summers, some crazy ass temperatures. I've been to California when it was something like, I don't know how much it is in Fahrenheit. Maybe it was like something pretty close what it's going on here, about 22, 24 Celsius. It was really decent compared to Nevada, which was something like almost 50 degrees Celsius, which is something like, I don't know, maybe 120 Fahrenheit or something really, really crazy. Kippistä vaan Jurille, tervepä terve. Metalheim asking the basic very question. Trolling is Venom black metal? Yes, it is. As much as Iron Maiden is heavy metal. Get me? Alrighty. Hannibal Barca, the Punic Wars. Now we're talking about history. Hello, Gyro Lamba. How are you doing? What is my favorite Carcass album? This might actually surprise you, but my favorite Carcass album is Hot Work. Yeah, I know it's not grindcore. Never got to like too much that part of Carcass. It's not very brutal, but I like because it's so not too technical, but it's kind of melodic, groovy, technical a little bit, very sharp production and all that stuff. But also because it was the first Carcass album I ever heard around 1994 or so. Dorian E is asking interesting question. How large is my music library song-wise? Are you referring to my digital collection music library, or are we talking about physical copies? Because they're two different things. About digital ones, I have no idea. When it comes to physical ones, I have a pretty good idea nowadays what the size is. What do I think about Imposter's Lord band? I must say I haven't heard it. What's it like? What is the rarest vinyl CD cassette you own in your collection? I think it's probably some very limited edition clandestine blaze kind of tapes. Or it might be some autographed, some EPs. I don't have real rarities, I think. I haven't never checked out on Discogs which would be my rarities. Like if I have some rare version of a CD, but I don't think CDs are that rare, and I don't have that many vinyl, so I really don't know. I'm guessing some of the old tapes, which were limited to very small numbers. For example, I have the Northern Heritage box, which includes 7 inches by, well, first of all, Annihilatus, but also other Northern Heritage bands, which I think is limited something like 200 copies or so. So pretty much it's something Northern Heritage related. But I really don't have cool rarities. I think I might have gotten through something via review copies, but like I said, I am not very sure how rare they are or which one they are, which of them are rare. What is the best Finnish metal band, and explain why it's Reverend Bizarre? Now, basically, in my opinion, I never cared too much about Reverend Bizarre, but I do understand and respect what they're doing, and I kind of like what they have done in the past, but it's not really my cup of tea because I've never been too much into doom metal. But yeah, I understand why for some people it's the best band from Finland. My favorite one would be a trickier one because there's so many good black metal ones which I really like, a couple of death metal bands which I really like a lot. So it would be hard for me to decide just one band over the other. That's really, really hard question because I thought I would know it like that, but I don't. For black metal, I could be saying, yeah, it could be Satanic Warmaster. Then again, when it comes to death metal, I would be saying maybe it's Torture Killer. But if there is some other band which I just can't get in my head right now, I would be prone to change my reply in an hour. So there is no absolute favorite for me in the Finnish metal scene. Lots of really, really good ones, lots of pretty good ones, and so forth. But I don't have a like instant favorite, like just number one of all in Finnish metal scene. Omar is mentioning some of Tunisia. Yeah, Omar, it would be really cool if you would drop me email about Tunisian band. I'm gonna type my email here. It's not a secret because, I mean, of course, you can get my email from the YouTube page of Rauta. What else? Yeah, Gerald, that way, I think what is most boring with very many interviews, what you can read, especially on magazines, when bands are promoting nothing else but their latest album. Yeah, I think we really nailed it this time. This album is so much more pure. With this album, we really got the atmosphere right. Yeah, we got so good producer now. I mean, this lineup is the strongest ever. I think we really did great work with lyrics. I think the cover art is the best we had. I think this really is the best album by Weber. And you get to read that every few years, but every fucking goddamn bigger bands, mind you. It's not like somebody says, yeah, I think this is our fifth best album. We really couldn't beat our three first best albums because, I mean, we are not that young anymore. We don't have that imagination. Nobody's going to say that. They either go for the, yeah, this is the best album ever, or then they're starting to talk something else, which is totally fine. But yeah, you always get to hear that. Yeah, we just did this album to get out of the stupid record deal. Of course, they're not going to say that. But it sucks, really. Is Carpathian Forest working on an album? I really don't know, but I was going to feature one of them as classic album for the month. This is interesting question by Kendall Dunn. If it doesn't take long, the answers are already out there somewhere. Where did you guys meet? How did you project become? Are we talking about Annihilators here or Rauta? They're two typical different questions. I can pretty much explain both. It doesn't take too much time. But just, Kendall, please let me know which one you actually meant. Thank you, Cameron Thurman. Thanks for loving the YouTube here. Cheers. By the way, people, you should be having beers. I hope you have some cold drinks. My beer ain't too cold, but I'll survive. Hello, Baltimore, Maryland. Baltimore always reminds me of that great TV series, The Wire. Man, that's good. I wish I could visit Baltimore someday. I somehow seem to remember better those cities from United States of America, which have American football names like, you know, Baltimore for Baltimore Ravens and all that stuff. Matsloth asking very interesting question. Is it correct to say that my worldview is inclined towards materialistic nihilism? Yes, in a way. I don't know if my worldview can be put into the words like that. Because while I am definitely kind of a nihilistic and I'm kind of a cynical person, I'm also really, really positive person. I don't believe in this bullshit where people are just complaining and bitching all the time how hard life is, how depressing it is. I mean, mind you, I don't disrespect the real depression. Like if you're suffering from mental illness, that fucking sucks. Get help. I don't know, go to see a doctor, whatever. But when people are like bitching like life is so hard and blah, 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 and you know, where life is meaningless. Yeah, it can be really meaningless. I know as a nihilist person, I know it can be fucking meaningless, but that's the point of nihilism. You don't get stuck there. Like, you know, well, fucking Nietzsche said that. You don't stuck there. You kind of use that as a tool and you like go beyond it. But that doesn't really mean that you should totally abandon nihilism, but more like keep questioning things. Even if you set your own ideas there, like, you know, written in stone, like, okay, you should be good person towards your friends, basically everybody, but especially your friends. And also you should, you know, put your money where your mouth is. Things like that, the kind of rules you have for your life. That doesn't mean you shouldn't question them. For example, for a very, very, very long time in my life, I was a firm believer that truth should always come first. Like lying is one of the worst things in life you can do. I was a firm believer in truth, like being honest and all that stuff. Well, I kind of still am. I am really believing in truth. But because I had to, learn the hard way that speaking truthfully, being honest, fully, all the time, every time, does you no good. Sometimes it actually helps to slip a little bit of what we could call white lies. Or maybe you just don't tell everything. That's not exactly lying. So sometimes pure truth isn't the right way to do because it will create more harm. I'll give you a perfect example. Once upon a lifetime, I was in a bar where a friend's friend or whatever acquaintance was playing a gig with their band. This person comes to me like, "Hey, how did you like the show? Did you like what we were doing?" I didn't watch the show because I didn't like the band. No, if I opted to go for the truthful answer, the real honest thing, I would be saying like, "No, I didn't watch your show because you fucking suck, man." What good would that be doing? Well, first of all, the good thing is he would learn the truth, right? Yeah. So that's a relative good thing to do, right? But I would have also hurt his feelings and telling like, I don't give a shit about your shitty band because it's not my cup of tea. So rather I was like, well, I'm sorry, I missed your gig because I was talking to my friends, which wasn't technically speaking lying, but I was, well, no way I wasn't going to tell you I didn't watch their gig because I didn't like their music. So these kind of small white lies can actually keep things better without actually being, another liar. So even though I still like to think that honesty is the best policy, especially when it comes to things like reviewing stuff or giving honest feedback, constructive or otherwise. And even though I like to keep these kind of rules for myself, honesty being one of them, I still like to think in the terms of nihilism that you need to question even your own rules. So back to the very point of being a kind of a nihilist person is, yes, you need to question whatever things are in life. You need to reevaluate whatever is happening. Like, for example, you could reevaluate your work. Is it worth doing? Is your work something that you will cling to for the rest of your life? Or should you think about other opportunities? Or if you have a shitty romantic relationship, you should be questioning that, not just, going all the way that road just because you ended up marrying a wrong person. There are lots of things you really need to question. Maybe you have a band and you feel like this band is not going to the direction you want, but you're too pussy to leave the band because you cannot change the style, but you don't want to leave the band because you would be then without the band, right? So you need to question these things like, do I really enjoy being part of this band, which music I don't like? You either say yes or no. You need to be honest with yourself, though, or otherwise this questioning process doesn't help you at all. Doesn't help nobody. So, as such, I'm saying, yes, life has no value of its own, except if you give that value or meaning to it. And even if you do, every now and then it would be a good idea to reflect, like, has things changed? If your number one value as a 20 years old person is like, okay, my meaning of life is to get laid, to drink beers, and have a band. Good for you. But maybe in your 30s, you're like, man, my meaning of life is to marry a nice wife, make a kid or two, and have a decent job. That could work for you for a while, maybe the rest of your life. But every now and then, it's good to reflect upon these ideas and question whether or not you actually think like that all the way. You don't necessarily have to change your values just because you question them, but it's a good idea to give these ideas, these meanings, these ideologies, whatever. They might be religions, they might be philosophy, whatever you have in your life. It would be now and then good idea to think about it. Reflect like, hey, do I still think like that? Or have I changed? Have my thoughts changed over the years? So that's what I'm talking about when we're talking about nihilism. That doesn't mean utterly negative, judgmental way of seeing things in life. It means, in my opinion, that you question a lot of things and you question in order to attempt to find out what you really think. Like, be open for change. You don't have to change, but it's really okay to change because everybody is prone to change over the years, maybe because of your age, maybe because something happened to you. Experiences we have in life are bound to guide us in a little bit different direction. Like, say, you could be very much anti-Christian or whatever anti you are in your 20s, and it's totally okay. But when you get older, you probably feel like, that was a waste of time. That was me back then. That doesn't mean you have to totally abandon these views. Maybe you just fine tone them. Maybe you're less anti, but still somewhat anti. Maybe you just turn around 180 degrees and say, no, I'm not anti this, I'm pro this. It's all fine as long as you can justify it to yourself. And then maybe you can explain it to others. Others don't have to necessarily agree with you, and you have to understand that it's bound to happen. I have a lot of strong opinions people don't like or people don't agree with. It's totally fine. I don't expect them to. And I am open to change my opinion or other views if I see that is in place to do that. Like if I have some great idea, in my opinion, and some other person is like, okay, that's not so good idea, Jerry. Maybe you should think about it more. Maybe you just reflect about these things, and this person gives me a list of facts like blah, 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 this and that. And maybe I'm like, okay, I was wrong. I'm going to change my mind because you had all this better information. And okay, maybe I should actually look up to you and find this information useful and make it on my own. That's totally fine. We are the people who have the capacity to change and to question things. We might remain the same or we might change. It's all fucking good. You don't need nobody's permission to do that. So this is all I'm saying. Sorry, a long rant about nihilism and worldview. And when it comes to more materialistic things, well, my materialistic worldview comes from the very fact that this is tangible, but some occult thing is not so tangible. So yeah, I'm kind of prone to that. What I see, what I hear, what I taste, what I smell, these are tangible ideas. Things that are not so tangible, I find less relatable, if that makes sense. Sorry for a long rant. I hope this gives a little bit of idea what I have going in my mind. And now I'm going to read a little bit of back scroll before you make more questions. What's my favorite Metallica song of all time? Well, I have a lot of Metallica favorite songs. I don't know if I actually have any one favorite because I have favorites spanning across from Ride to Lightning to And Justice for All and Master of Puppets, obviously. But they're so good songs throughout these three albums that it would be hard for me to figure out. I don't have necessarily one good song, even though I love Metallica. I love Slayer too, but I don't know if I can just say Angel of Death all the time. And same goes for other favorite bands such as, Death, Wasp, etc. Because they have so many really, really good superior songs that it's hard to bring just one song out of that. So sorry, I can't be more accurate about it. And greetings, GD92. Hello from sunny and hot South Europe. It's hot and sunny here as well. What is my favorite Finnish black metal band? Asking Waldo. I think it's Satanic Warmaster. But then again, I haven't really been questioning my opinion about it too lately. But some of their, especially early Satanic Warmaster albums are so good in my opinion that I'm kind of prone to say that. So let's go with it until I change my mind. Yeah, Kendall Dunn about Annihilatus. Because you were asking like how we met. Now the thing here is I had known this guy TH for quite some time. He was in the same scene, living nearby and all. And I don't know how we actually formed Annihilatus. I guess I was saying that it would be cool if I was going to play some of my riffs and maybe he could, learn some drumming. I don't know how we ended up this initial talk about it because, TH is originally bass player and a guitar player from various bands, bands like Unhola, Torture Killer. He even played guitar in Nightside for a bit with me when I was doing vocals. But somehow we ended up doing that. I still remember him saying something to me like he thought I was even shittier with the guitar than what I was actually. And I am a shitty guitarist. There's no denying that. But anyway, we kind of started jamming to see where it goes. This was in 1999. And soon after, I didn't know, we had this Doctronian drive. Just two guys. One doing the drums and bass and me doing vocals and guitars and me handling the lyrics, him doing the recording and later on mixing and all that stuff. So I think we had these great dynamics, the kind of a yin yang thing. He would do other half, I would do other half. We would be jamming, him playing drums, me playing guitar, me adding then vocals, he would be adding bass and all that stuff. And suddenly things just clicked, and that's how we had this passion to do this kind of raw and black metal. Obviously, partially because I wasn't and still am not a good guitar player. I am very simple with making very simple riffs in a very simple ways. So I was basically jamming very simple riffs. But then again, he was kind of a shitty drummer. He's not that shitty anymore anyway. But because we had both very simple ways to do our music, I think that things clicked. We were on the same level basically. And because it was just two of us, there was no other part to kind of interrupt what we were doing with the band. So I would create riffs and he would, just follow up with drums, and things would progress. And only mere few months from where we started, we made this first demo. And I think we recorded it on the New Year's Eve of 1999, because we joked that this would be the very first demo of the new millennium. And some people were like saying like, yeah, probably there are lots of others, but we were literally, recording this on the very last days of December 1999. So when it was 2000, we had this demo ready. So yeah, we had this good thing, this chemistry going on for quite some time. And only later on, we had this idea of expanding into full band, adding third member for bass, and later on fourth member for vocals, where I was just handling more guitar work and he was doing drums, and obviously recording and lyrics, those didn't change. But the adding these extra dynamics for this band really didn't go so well. So we got back to 2 piece later on, and then we had a little bit of a chemistry problems, and that's why we went on a hiatus for more than 10 years. But it really started very simple ways. I guess we just had this idea like, let's do something else we had been doing. We both already had a few years of black metal behind our backs. So it wasn't our first black metal project, but it was like, for me, it was the second band. And for him, I think it was something like third or fourth band. So whatever. I mean, in terms of black metal, for me, it was all in all, Annihilate, this was like third band. No, fourth, actually, because there was a one non-metal band. So very, very simple things happened, and that's how we ended up doing Annihilate. Is very, very interesting, very, very simple basics. Let's open another can of beer. 30 minutes in, so time to have another beer. RB asking, do I enjoy other music besides metal? Yes, I really, really like dark ambient as a genre. And I hope to talk about that in future videos for Rauta as well, because in my opinion, real dark ambient is so much darker than most black metal ever. Also, I'm a big fan of soundtrack music. Movies, TV series, games. It doesn't matter if the soundtrack is good. But I guess I'm more inclined to like movie and game soundtracks than, well, series, because of its, dynamics and themes. But yeah, and then I do like some darker pop, like, Depeche Mode. I do like Pink Floyd quite a bit. But yeah, most of my time I am spending with metal. But soundtracks and ambient are the two genres which I really enjoy besides metal. And yes, Lamp, I know what you mean. There is real depression, and then there is feeling of being depressed because life is so fucking hard and my girlfriend just left me. Two very different things. All right, reading your comments once again. And hello, Waltmont. Have I played Resident Evil? Asking Raul. No, but I do have Resident Evil 7 in my backlog. Do I like the band Converge? Never actually listened to it. I just know it. Nestor Gach is asking me, do I like bands from Central and South America? I do like some bands, but I've never been too big fan. But they're like bands like, obviously, Sepultura, and bands like Evil, Sarcophago, which are pretty cool. But I've never been exactly a big fan of that style. It's maybe I haven't found the right bands, but I kind of like the passion what Latin American metal is doing. What else? And Privyat to my Russian friend. I still cannot pronounce it, but I guess it's Vladimir. If I'm gotten right. Gerald, thanks for your comment about actually fundamentally satanic. I don't know how satanic it is, but it is what it is. You can label it. RB is asking, do I prefer mountains and oceans? Because I live in Finland and we don't have mountains, I prefer oceans. I'm very much a sea person and I like that sea is always nearby. But then again, I would probably love mountains if I got to experience them properly. Junaid is asking about deathcore, band starting to implement more black metal elements. Lorna Shore, Carnifex. Well, I actually reviewed one Lorna Shore album a few months ago. I don't mind if they're adding black metal parts, but I mean, adding too many different elements into one particular album can get quite messy. Somehow, I think it might be worth experimenting, and the other half in me says maybe it's not worth a good idea. But I mean, you really don't know it until you try it. So I don't mind if they're, trying some black metal ideas into deathcore. What do I think about cattle decapitation? I have heard some of it, and I remember it being somewhat good. I was actually supposed to review their latest one, which I guess came already out a year ago, something like that. But for some reason, that copy was delayed, and the label decided then not to send it anymore because it was already late. But yeah, I remember it being quite good, but not my favorite thing or anything like that. D. Mohan is asking a very interesting question about do I think that comparatively high depression rates in Finland versus European Union have a contribution towards a typical Finnish black metal sound? Because personally, I feel that it's angst emanating from the sound. Well, I don't know if it's about depression as such, but I think the kind of a gloomy mood, which we especially go through winter time when it's really, really dark and it's cold, and even people outside aren't looking too fresh. I mean, if you go out now and you will see all those mini skirts and people, getting happy, makeup and all, ready to drink and party. Obviously, that kind of a inspires. We get that biological thing going on. Even if you're like gloomy and doomy and angry, anxiety person, you see those hot people and they're like, hello, sign me in. When it's dark, gloomy, people have these massive amounts of clothing and they look like shit. That can get really depressing. All you want to get is, I want to get laid, and you go outside. No, I want to go back in to kill myself by the fireplace, which is also cold. So yes, I think these are kind of a gloomy, moody, winter, dark times. They are depressing people, and I think that will be reflected in the sound of music, not only in Finland but also places like Norway, Sweden, and I guess Russia. So yeah, I think that reflects. What else? Forrest the Either is like to hear some Rauta riffs. Well, they're all in Annihilatus. I'm not going to play him here. Shunaid is saying he's a big fan of the channel. Thank you. You want to start your own metal review channel because you love my reviews and insights. I would say don't do it, but if you want to do it, go ahead. It can be a really, really boring one if you go really boring albums through and through and through. But whatever gives you the kicks, man. Obviously, you have to decide for yourself if you like to do it. So any tips I have for a person who's new to YouTube content creation? Well, my first tip has to be you really have to like what you're doing. Because if you don't like what you're doing, you're going to get just burned out. You're going to feel it's stupid waste of time. If you don't like talking, if you don't want to, if you're not cool or even enjoying and staying in the front of camera, don't do it. But if you're like me, that you like to blog things, if you want to talk about things or write about things, and you really enjoy sharing your own experience to people, go ahead. Before I started Rauta, I was already writing reviews for a long time. I've been writing reviews about 20 years now. And I also, at some point, I reviewed TV shows and movies for a bit, even games. So, and I had been hosting a blog for many, many years, now defunct. I had actually four blogs at most, one related to TVs and movies and games, one related to metal, one was a personal one, and then there was another English blog for metal also, actually, just before Rauta started. So I had also always had this passion to write and share about my thoughts. Like I'm the kind of person, the kind of annoying one. Like when I see a cool movie, I'm like, "Hey guys, you gotta see this movie. It's really, really good because of blah 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 blah." When I hear this really cool album, I'm like, "Hey people, you should be listening to this great, great album." Blah 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 blah. When I find a new beer, I'm like typing on Facebook, "Hey, I found this really good beer. You should be having." So I'm the type that likes to share these things. I like to tell people like what I have found, what I have enjoyed. So if you have this sharing emotion in you, you definitely run a YouTube or start writing a blog. But if you don't feel like sharing things, if you want to keep to yourself, or you feel like you're not getting kicks out of sharing these stories, then I guess no go. I think that matters the most. Someone is saying Impel Nazarene is the best Finnish band. That is a good idea. Hi there, Cyclops. Skything Cold is asking an interesting question. Do I run into metalhead every time you go outside Finland? Not really, but you will find those. But it's not like we're like metalhead, field country. But you will get to see a lot of those here and then. I mean, go to a store and you will find somebody wearing a band shirt or having long hair. So it's not a rarity, but obviously it's not that common as some people might think. How about listen to the latest Portal record? I was listening to it a bit, and it's still not my cup of tea. I think it's a very, very unique and acquired taste kind of a music. If people like previous Portal, there's no reason why they wouldn't like the new one, but it's not really something that I get my kicks out of. And Forêt the Diver is also liking dark ambient soundtrack. There's really, really cool. Northern Dome got some beer, really great. John Gibbert is asking, do I own some releases from bands coming from Czech Republic? I don't know if I nowadays have Czech Republic bands. I have previously had some, but I can't remember out of my head if I have those anymore. Have I seen the new Elden Ring trailer? I know that it's made the same people who made Dark Souls and Bloodborne, but I haven't seen the trailer yet. I will check it out later. And hello, Samuel Hermansson. You already asking about that if I like any other music than metal. And I already answered that. I hope you got the answer. Deborah Arts is asking, interesting. What about my farming chickens? Do I also plant my own vegetables? Well, yeah. We actually have a small garden where potatoes and zucchinis are coming from, and some, I guess, onions. I think we skipped carrots this year because they didn't make too well last year. We have cherry tomatoes, something very little. Potatoes did really, really good last year, and now we have chickens. We have 4 hens and a rooster, which means we get fresh eggs every day. Yeah, that's a good thing. Well, my favorite Texas band is Abzu, but I guess I haven't heard Steel Bearing Hand, Hot Oath of Cruelty. No, unfortunately, I'm not familiar with those bands. What else? This is an interesting question. So, for the slightly provocative question, do I respect more or less Quarford or Möbus, that is of Shining and Absurd? Can't really say I respect highly either one for various reasons. I am not a judgmental person, and I don't judge. I think people will go in court of law in order to, serve their time. But I really don't have, you know, uh, respect as such for those people. Mike Voisinor is asking interesting question. What country do you think has the most kick-ass black metal bands coming forth? Nowadays, I am kind of bound to say that Finland is very, very strong with its black metal scene. So yeah, Finland is also one of my favorite countries. And this is not a patriotic statement, mind you. This is about because, for past 15 years, 20 years, Finland has been kind of a catching up, and where Norway has been in decline. The Norwegian scene has been in decline since mid 90s basically. I think they I made actually a video of something like 3 years ago already, like how Norway lost their crown being number one black metal country. I mean, back in the early 90s, Norway was really, really great. All these new bands back then were just great, and the scene was blooming. But since then, it has really, really gone down, and Sweden and Finland have been, really taking that crown. And sometimes I would have said it was Sweden. Sometimes I think it's Finland. But obviously there are lots of other countries as well bringing good black metal. But I guess at the moment, I think Finland is very much at least one of the leading countries. But then again, there are so many good bands coming from different countries. So I don't think we can say there's one country to lead, to make the best kind of black metal. Oh, thank you. Somebody just donated for Red Iver. Thank you for your 10 Canadian dollar donation. Very much humbly thanking you. These are all very great things which help me and my camera crew to make the content. And I'm thankful for all the donations. I don't want to keep begging you. You do whatever you want with your money, buy music and beer or whatever. But thank you, really. That means a lot. But yeah, Finland is definitely one of those leading countries, in my opinion, when it comes to black metal. What else? What's my favorite movie of all time? This is my favorite topic. I think I have revealed this as one of my long sleeve shirts, but it's Apocalypse Now. I'm a fan of war movies, especially Vietnam War movies. I can explain why if somebody wants to know. But Apocalypse Now is one of those movies which I have seen most times. I'm also a big fan of original Star Wars trilogy. I mean, I grew up with, Star Wars and, stuff like that. Sci-fi, fantasy, they have always been appealing to me. When I was older, I would like more war movies, more deep dramas, dramas that make me feel shit. No, really, movies rarely make me feel like shit. But if they can do it, I'm all in. Like last weekend when I was hanging out with my friends at the sauna and movie night, we watched the movie called Ciudad de Deus, City of God, which is about those Brazilian slums, basically, kind of a favela style where people are, kids are soldiers killing each other over drugs and, all that stuff. Really, really kind of a hard movie to look into that ways, when like little kids are handed guns, like shoot that motherfucker. Those kind of movies, I like them because I want to feel like deeply some shitty things. I don't need those shitty things in my real life, obviously. I don't want to see dead kids out lying around and all that stuff. But when I'm enjoying art, movies, games, things like that, I don't necessarily want to have sweet, soft, kind of a easy entertainment. I mean, comedy is one thing, but when I go to the deep end, I want this kind of a drama that speaks to me. So Vietnam War movies, especially because war can be really, really shitty part of life. And that is war nobody won in. And, that's why I like these kind of movies. So Apocalypse Now being kind of a philosophical about so many things. I don't want to go into details now. And also because it's very, very visual movie. It has great dialogue, great acting. And it's at the same time, it's a kind of a road trip movie, really, if you think about it. So many reasons why I love the movie the most. So Apocalypse Now, watch it. I've seen it many, many times. Do I have new video games to try it? Oh, so many. I'm actually in Blood Bowl 3 beta right now. I have it on my PC and I was going to play today, but then I figured out I need to do this stream. So I hope to test that Blood Bowl 3 during the weekend, tomorrow and on Sunday, because on Sunday the beta phase ends. And then I hope to start Watch Dogs Legion next week, if I'm not going to start it tomorrow, in case I get bored with the Blood Bowl during the weekend. And somebody asked, I already got my first vaccination for COVID 2 weeks ago. I got Moderna, and I will get a second vaccine just before Steel Hordes Festival in mid-August. So I'm good to go. How I heard the band Total Self-Hatred. Yes, years and years ago, I actually reviewed some of their early stuff. Maybe that was the 2008 stuff. It's a pretty good band. What's my all-time favorite video game? That would be World of Warcraft. I've explained it so many times. Beyond that, GTA 5 and Red Dead Redemption 2. And I'm not into retro video games because I played too many of those games when I was a kid. So I don't want to go back to my childhood playing those shitty video games anymore. I want to enjoy nowadays video games. Hello, Peter Christensen, and thanks you for your comments regarding the channel. Do I know the band Obtain Enslaved? Yes, I do. I haven't heard them in, I don't know, 15, 20 years, I guess. And I guess I kind of have to go back to those albums because Obtain Enslavement is one of those bands that people keep suggesting and recommending to me every now and then, even though I remember not liking too much of that band every now and then. But yeah, I guess I should give it up. Listen again. HS Merciless is asking, hardest part of reviewing music. Hardest part of reviewing music is that you get too many of that music you need to review all the time, and going to the shitty albums can be really, really tedious task. I don't know if there are other hard parts, really. Thank you, Omar, for sending me the links about Tunisia. Cheers. Mohan is asking me, do I prefer the atmospheric black metal, which is more symphony, keyboards driven, or guitar riff driven? I'm definitely more guitar driven black metal bands, especially the raw kind. While atmospheric and keyboard driven black metal can be very, very interesting and enjoyable, I'm more about, the raw part. Give me just, early Dog Throne over basically any other black metal, and that's the way to go. Nestor Guy is asking about paranormal activity and haunted places. Actually, there's an old mansion, kind of old countryside place nearby, which is said to be haunted. There's supposed to be some haunting kid appearing on a window. I don't know. I'm very, very, what do you call it? I don't believe in ghosts that easily, or paranormal things. I like them to be true, but I'm kind of a second guessing when people say, yeah, I saw a UFO, or I saw a ghost, or I saw this and that. I'm like, yeah, right. And I married a, supermodel. It's theoretically it's possible, and I kind of hope it to be true. I kind of hope there are ghosts and paranormal activities and all that stuff, but I don't really buy that shit. But if you can convince me there are paranormal activities, ghosts, and other stuff, yeah, sure. Rutger Jussi asking me that what are my thoughts about Dogwoods, my betrothed signing to Napalm Records. I think it's kind of a shitty label. They, first of all, nowadays they kind of offer you stream links only for review because some asshole spread their MP3 files years ago, and now they are not promoting bands properly. I also think it's a home of lots of has-been bands, the bands that were once great and not so great anymore. Now, they are a relatively big label, so I guess they have the work power and force to help bands out a lot, but I don't think they're a good label in that, so cannot really recommend it too much. But I hope the Dogwoods is doing well with the label. Viva la mort. Joe Legee is asking, saying that because I don't like NSBM bands, don't I even like Goat Moon? Well, Goat Moon has some decent melodies, but I am not really that much of a fan of melodic black metal. I think Goat Moon is decent, but it's not like my favorite kind of black metal anyway, NSBM or otherwise. Any news from Carcass and Morbid Angel for new record? Not that I know of. Yeah, 2001 Space Odyssey is pretty good movie also. I actually saw it only for the first time only like 2 years ago maybe. Bosch Skill Devalt Makita Porter Gable. I guess I'm a Makita guy because my rechargeable drill is Makita. Hello, Alba Gubraith. How are you doing in this, my Scots friend? What else? Can I review that Obtain Enslaved? Well, I could do a challenging the classics. I could include it there. Actually, tomorrow is coming a challenging the classics for a second Amorphis album suggested to you by no other than Metalheim, who was already in the stream earlier. I don't know if he's still here. Thanks for Metalheim. And I am actually looking for your suggestions about next challenging the classic video that should be out in July, because I think June is already filled. So Obtain Enslavement with Soul Blight could be very well one of that. Thank you, Ball Left, for a comment. Glad you also liked City of God. Haven't ever been to Asian countries. I have been only to Vietnam a couple of years ago. I remember actually reading Bardo Methodology zine while hanging around on the beaches of Vietnam. Really great place, good food, nice people. I definitely want to go back to Asia. I would like to visit China as first, Japan as second, and the rest, well, all of them if possible, but China and Japan as first. And about directors, I would pick Tarantino over others. I'm just Tarantino fan. Haythin played a game called Gun. I remember that Western game called Gun, but I never played it myself. What's the name? Espantalio is asking like, have I heard the new Thai Light EP? I haven't, but I noticed a review by my colleague about it. And Time Monitor is actually saying the word skeptical. Yes, skeptical was the word what I was talking about when talking about ghosts and all that stuff. What do you think about Lars von Trier? Well, I haven't really watched that many Lars von Trier movies, so I'm still on the verge, like figuring out whether he's genius or not. Alex Rose, you're not late to the party, even though I won't be here much longer, but still, you are right in time. RB is asking, do I have cheat meals? Yes, all the fucking time. I eat whatever I like. Pizza, sushi, steaks, hamburgers, you name it. I'm not a food lover, though, but especially when I'm feeling lazy and I'm busy, I'm just, eating whatever. Just as long as it has calories, it's all good. I'm not actually looking forward to have six-pack. I know I'm not exactly thin and lean and all that stuff, but I'm not too fat either, so it's all good. I don't worry about it. And yes, Waldman saying that I'm very skeptical about paranormal activity. What else? David Segovia liked the Buried interview. Thank you, David. Mike, what black metal band are you referring to from Poland? Yes, Alba Group, right? I'm about 20 minutes behind the chat again, yes. Can I make a review of Sirit Gorgor, the Dutch black metal? If I get a physical copy, yeah, sure. Oh yeah, I might interview Dead Reptile Shrine. I'm gonna actually add to the list right now because I keep forgetting Dead Reptile Shrine. Let's add into the list. Thanks for a reminder. I don't always remember these suggestions. Which beer I like the most? Well, sours and IPAs the most. I like when sour beers are so sour that it feels like my gums and teeth are just melting. But I do like a lot of IPAs, especially the stronger type, the more hoppier ones. Jesus juice, that's good. Have I watched the Ramanos movie? Yes, I did. I like the beer part especially. I haven't heard the soundtrack though. Alex Rose, you got Norland. Great. Nice to hear you got it. I will be sending the new CDs. I was actually supposed to pack them today, but I don't think I have the time today. Let's see. I'll try to get those CDs sent next week, if not this weekend. Let's see about it. And Waldman, it's good that you are drinking beer because my beer is pretty much empty. Did I like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood movie? Yes, I did. I have enjoyed all Tarantino movies. How much do I bench? I bench only 120 kilos. I'm a really weak bench pressure. I have a hard time to work out these, weak triceps. I just suck at it. I'm trying to get better, but I don't know how. Yes, Christian Redemacher. I actually added recently Arcanum to my worst to best videos. I have, let me see, about 5 bands, I think, currently added to my worst to best videos. I need actually to film one for July. I've already done this month's worst to best. It's going to be Slayer, by the way. Next month, I won't reveal just yet, but I've listened to all of them. But the ones that people have been suggesting, let me see. There are bands that people have, mostly these are what I've figured out myself. Celtic Frost, worst to best. I mean, that's a defunct band. Dismember, Ildiarn, Arcanum, Vindir, Pantera. You didn't see that coming. And even Type O Negative. These are all defunct bands, which I could be doing worst to best. If you have more suggestions for worst to best recommendations, just drop me a line and I will think about it. Especially if it's a defunct band, it can go. But I can't promise more than one worst to best video a month because I actually need to listen to those albums. And there's so many other albums I need to listen to and, all that stuff. How did I find the new Behemoth single? Christopher, I haven't heard the new Behemoth single. And people are removing their messages. Oh my goodness, what is happening here? Waldman, are you coming to Turku, my home city? Do I prefer tequila or vodka or enjoy both equally? That's a good question. I guess it depends. When you have a good tequila or good vodka, doesn't matter which one. So I get both equally would be honest reply. Maslowed is asking bow or crossbow. Definitely crossbow because once upon a time I had a crossbow. I mean a real one. It was a lethal magazine. Immolation Dawn of Proposition for next classical review. Not a bad idea. What else? Last question. Favorite drumming focused metal? Origin. Origin has maybe the best drummer of all times. Well, one of them. I mean, I love Dave Lombardo, but I love John Longstreth in a way more. And Nastar guy is asking, like, what's the best place to have traditional Finnish food in your hometown? Street food too. I don't think we really have that much of a street food here. Traditional Finnish one. I think most restaurants over here don't really do that much of a traditional Finnish food. That is kind of a curious thing. Finnish home food, that's not very popular in restaurants. But there's a one restaurant, really old school. I think it has been there in the same place since the 70s. That is probably having the kind of a Finnish traditional food. Actually, took one of the Canadian fans, Rauta follower. Well, she's not anymore, but she used to be. And I took her to this restaurant from the 70s that actually serves traditional Finnish food. And I think it was a good trip to that place because that really serves traditional Finnish food. Yeah, Five Finger Death Punch top 10. Woohoo! What a video. I would need a bottle of vodka to go with that. What else? Bethlehem Dark Metal review. Yeah, that could be as a challenging the classic. Possible. I haven't heard the Caveman Cult's Plot of Extinction. I prefer not to have tapes if I can. I don't like cassettes. Yeah, Necros editor was saying Hesburger. Well, that's kind of a traditional Finnish street food, but yeah, it's just poor hamburgers. Voltman, I know your dear friend. Well, that's weird. Well, anyway, let's head for beers when you come here. Yes, Kendall, actually 2 people from United States have actually asked me that I should go Psycho Vegas. So I'm trying to get there someday because it would be nice to meet my American friends. But yeah, that work visa thing might suck. I don't know how it's going to turn out. I know which Canadian you speak of. Yes, Alba Gubrath knows the story. Will I be rooting for someone other than Finland or the European Championship? No, I'm not going to watch European Championship. The only kind of football I like is American football. Sorry. Your favorite records of all time, asking Demi Fisher. Haven't I already mentioned them? They're already pretty much on my list, but, Slayer, Rainy Blood, Wasp, Last Command, Dissection, Storm of the Light, Spain Death, Symbolic, Suicidal Tendencies, The Art of Rebellion, At the Gates, Slaughter of the Soul, Dark Throne, Under a Funeral Moon, and Transylvanian Hangar. That would be my favorites. Oh, sorry, 5. I need to figure out that later on. And Nestor Gayor, De Nada, I guess you say. So, I've been catching up your questions. Do you still have very last questions, or am I free to go to, take the coach? Have I been to Wacken? Yes, I've been to Wacken 5 times. I really like the festival. I haven't been to Under the Black Sun, though, because I should go there once upon a time, but I don't know. Well, yeah, Alba, let me know. Heads up on Discord if you want to talk about NFL someday. I will give you some pointers. But yeah, NFL, that can be a tricky because, it's not the easiest of sports to get into. But I like the tactics, the brutality of these sports. But I get it, it's not for everybody. Like the saying goes, American football is like the chess of, ball sports. Néstor, poco. Yo hablo poco español. Yo no comprendo mucho español. But I'm trying trying to learn Spanish. I don't know what to really to say about it because I only know the very very basics. You know, ¿dónde está el aeropuerto? Yo quiero más cerveza, por favor. Joe Leggy is asking me about serial killer merch and tattoos. I think it's kind of crazy to have serial killer tattoos in a way. But I mean, whatever, if it gives you the kicks, why not? About merchandise, I don't know. I don't really care about it. If people want to have serial killer merchandise, what the fuck? Let them go ahead. And Mike, yes, Poland has some good kick-ass BM bands. And Gerald, yes, definitely should visit Montreal and Quebec. But what if I meet some really cute chicks, like you mentioned, in Montreal? Will I get stuck there with those cute chicks? Like, what happens in my life here? Will I be ruined if I go to Montreal? Like, who will save me? Who will save me if I go to Montreal and meet cute chicks? My life ruined. Have I ever been to Dutch festival? Not really. But yeah, I bet that Montreal has great drinks and good food. And cool history, I bet it. Best live performance I've ever been. Well, definitely a couple of Rammstein shows would be among those best performances. I think seeing Mysticum when I was smoking weed was great. Graveland smoking weed was really good also. Seeing Slayer on big stage at Wacken, fucking great. And also seeing Satyricon playing half an hour Dark Throne set at Wacken, definitely one of my favorite experiences because I figured out you will never hear Dark Throne play live. Well, it was technically speaking Nocturno Culto with Satyricon playing Dark Throne songs, but man, it was fucking great. I was quite wasted already, but I mean, I remember that those were some of the best 30 minutes in my life. Yes, Waldman, I've been following American football some 30 years now. Originally, it was only Super Bowl, so basically one game a year. But for past 13 years, I think since 2008, I've watched American football on a weekly basis and been a New England Patriots fan since 2009. Gracias, Nestor. Muchas gracias para tu comentario. I don't know how to say it, but yeah. David is asking, can I recommend a Finnish black metal band that I listen nowadays? I would say Flegane. And I haven't had Surströmming. I only know it by name. Do I call it basketball cards or Pokemon cards? It's something we're younger. No. I collected Marvel comics when I was younger. I never had anything collecting in terms of cards. But I was kind of a fanatic Marvel comics collector. You know, Spider-Man, X-Men, Hulk, Fantastic Four, Punisher, Daredevil, Conan the Barbarian. I still have those. So, yeah, that was my thing from about mid-80s to year 1999 or so. CTC is asking, do I like Pink Floyd? Yes. I wish I had seen Pink Floyd live. I've seen Brit Floyd a couple of times, and they do great cover songs or cover gigs with Pink Floyd songs. But yeah, the Pulse live DVD is the most viewed live DVD or whatever the format is ever I've watched. I've seen it, totally sober, and I watched it under influence a couple of times. Fucking great. Fucking I love it. I guess I need to smoke some pot someday and watch Pink Floyd to Pulse. Have I ever had a bad experience in a festival? Well, not really. If you don't count the amount of times that I didn't get laid at the festival, do they count? Oh, CTC, I'm really envious about the Division Bell tour. God damn, I wanted to see it. And Dimi, yes, I'm talking especially about Savage Sword of Conan. They are my favorite ones. Oh, sorry to hear that, Nestor. Sad news. All right, it's been more than 70 minutes. I need to bounce soon. So answering your very last questions before I go. And oh, by the way, people, let me know. Would you like to see a live stream from Finnish nature? Like if I took my iPad and my phone to make it stream, would you like to see this kind of a streaming session from, I don't know, by the seaside or in the middle of forest? Would that make sense to you? Huh? Let me know. No, más cerveza, Nestor. I actually got this idea of doing a stream in the middle of nature just today when I was taking a shower, but didn't figure out I will do it today. But I could do it during maybe June or July later on, kind of nature stream. All right. I don't know. We don't have a river nearby, but we have seaside and forests and fields. So yeah, because I live in a countryside. I could show you a little bit of around what's going on. All right, okay. Because if you like it, that would be a cool idea. No, terve vaan, Jaska Penttilä toiselta Jerryltä. Yeah, I guess I could do a little bit of a seaside touring. Let's plan it in a couple of weeks. There's a lake also nearby. So we have seaside, lakeside, forest, and some fields nearby. But I can't think any river that is nearby. I would have to drive, but I could just take a walk with you. Yeah. Well, Chateauroux lives a couple of hours away, more than that. So it's not that easy to do it. Oh, hello, another Californian fella here. And yeah, I remember Nietzsche saying something about like walking is tough. Yes. All right, let's do that. I hope to do that next stream, maybe in a couple of weeks, maybe already in June, I mean. Let's do it then. Kendall, you would be buying me drinks for an entire day. Bankrupt. No, I'm not that heavy drinker, but good to know that somebody's offering me a beer too. Oh, Waldman, you have been watching NFL since 1989, pretty much the same years when I started to watch the game. I only got to watch the Super Bowl because the TV channel wouldn't be showing any other than, just those. Nostrovia, Mike. All right. Thank you, guys. Let's do the next stream. I cannot say when, but let me see. I will be having vacation in about, roughly about in 2 weeks. So maybe late June, maybe early July. Let's plan a live stream from the nature side of things. I will take my iPad and take my phone to have the solid connection, and let's do a live stream from in the middle of nature. So didn't get to see a little bit of places. Got to do it a little bit earlier than now. It's almost like midnight because now with the sun is going down and it's quite dark here. But if you can do it like, I don't know, maybe 9 or 10 p.m. local time here, you can still see the sun going down and you actually get to see something. Because if I would go to the forest right now, you wouldn't be able to see too much and it would be kind of boring. I could basically take a walking trip. So talk while I move, so you get to see a little bit of different places. So yeah, let's plan it like that. I will need to figure out kind of a trip, and then we can do it. All right. And obviously, it would be hard for me to just answer all the questions while I, walk. But maybe I will take a couple of beers on a back and just talk something while I walk, and then go back to answer your questions and all that stuff. All right, let's make that as a plan. Uh, Thanks for being part of the stream. Thank you guys, and once again, thank for the donator of today, Fred, for sharing some money to Rauta team. Take care, people. Remember to watch the tomorrow's challenging the classic videos, and drop me your suggestions. Which one would be the next challenging the classic video coming out in a few weeks? Now I can give you a little bit of heads up. Next week is totally done except this video, this interview, which should be out on next Friday. And then I have had a little bit of pause with my workout video. That should be out next Sunday. Once again, getting back to that. Week after that, which is like the last full week of June, it's already done, apart from one movie review and one opinion video. And then we're moving already to July, which is mostly done except for the workout video and opinion video about the best of this quarter. And already the first full week in July is already done except for challenging the classics. So you could have an idea for early July, like a month now, and there would be a slot for challenging the classics. And then there will be also July's West to West video, which is pretty much done, but you can keep dropping those challenging the classic ideas for the coming weeks, because I can then get the time to prepare for that. Now, good night and take care. Have a great weekend. Drink beers, have sex, go out, meet your friends, and all that stuff. Stay safe, stay healthy, listen to some metal. Bye bye.